Hello everyone, it's me, your host with the most, Chef James MacInnis, and I'm here doing a reaction video to a Food Network video. It is Katie Lee Biegel's slow cooker pulled pork tacos. I'm going to guess the slash is the show name, The Kitchen / the Food Network. This video was posted 2 months ago and has got 17,000 views, 529 thumbs up. So that's a pretty decent ratio of people hitting the thumbs up. Let's see if it's any good. Hit that play button now.
Yes. Yeah. These are really delicious. I love my slow cooker because when it turns about 5 o'clock and people start saying to me, "What's for dinner?" I'm usually annoyed by that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Are you watching?
I'm shot into your life.
Well, I shouldn't say I'm always, but you know, you have those moments where it's like 5 o'clock and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna make for dinner?
Yep.
So if it's the morning, I put something in this slow cooker and then 5 o'clock rolls around, dinner is ready and I don't have to think about it.
Katie, it looks like you're going to a cocktail.
That is one of the big advantages. My wife loves her slow cooker. You can drop stuff in the morning, leave, go to work, go to school, do whatever you want, come home, dinner's ready. It is an amazing piece of pizza kitchen equipment that everybody should have.
Party after your cooking today.
I got 2 speeds. I'm either sweatpants or dressed up, and today I got dressed up. All right, I'm saving so much time by using the slow cooker. I got to get dressed up.
Hey, you look fabulous.
All right, Sonny, if you can chop up that pineapple for me, and then juice the orange and the lime, that'd be wonderful.
First.
It doesn't make any difference.
Okay,
They're all going in the same place. All right, so let's do this pork butt first. This is a tough piece of meat, so it's really good to do a...
For those of you that don't know, a pork butt or a Boston butt is the shoulder. Why it's called a butt, nobody knows, but it's the shoulder.
on this and let it tenderize. I've got my salt, pepper, cumin, coriander, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, all going into a bowl. This is gonna be my little spice rub. And I'm gonna season up that pork with it, and we're gonna sear it and give it all that good brown deliciousness on the outside. So there we go. This can take a lot of salt on this pork butt.
Heck
You need it.
And
this is your only opportunity when you're making something that is slow cooker. Your only opportunity to season it is at the beginning. If you don't do it now, you don't get the opportunity. A piece of meat like this needs the time, and do all the sides.
That's boneless, I take it, right?
It is boneless, yes.
Do you put it in the fridge overnight, or you just...
You could.
You can?
Yeah, you can do that if you got the time. If you are meal planning and you want to put this in the fridge overnight, it's only going to taste better from that. Now, I'm going to put some oil into my skillet and sear this bad boy up.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do fat side down first and render that fat out. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Sunny, how's it going over there with the...
Quick tip, some slow cookers have a sear function. The one my wife has, it's a Ninja, not plugging them or anything. And to be honest, most Ninja equipment, hit or miss on how long they last, but the features they have, that's a different story. It's got a sear mode. So you turn the stovetop sear, and you can do this part in the slow cooker, cuts down on a pot or a pan. Just makes it a little easier for cleanup. Hey, I hate to interrupt the video, but if you're getting any value out of this, could you please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below?
Pineapple.
So this is a fresh one, but could you use canned or pre-sliced from the produce section?
You could absolutely use canned pineapple for this. You could use a can of crushed pineapple would work.
Oh,
whatever you have. Okay, so now let's get to work on the sauce that's gonna go into our slow cooker with the pork. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. I've got onion. I'm using white onion. And I'm gonna add in some brown sugar, some jalapeno. Yes, if your family doesn't like spicy, you can leave it out. Garlic cloves.
I thought you were going to say you could leave them. I was like, whoa, hey, what's going on? You
got
about 5 o'clock, what's for dinner? And now you're out of here, you're out the door.
So funny. All right, I'm gonna give this a little pulse.
Am I the only one that finds the whole ensemble cast to be annoying? Not really a big fan of this. I'm sure this is gonna be a great recipe. It's looking like it's headed that way. But I'm finding the two guys in the corner to be pretty distracting and obnoxious.
If I can get this
always,
on, there we
this
go.
always confuses me.
Hey, one
Yeah,
shot.
how do you like that? Ye of little faith. All right, pulse that together. Now I'm gonna add to it.
Also, there was no need to have those onions pre-diced to then go into the food processor. You can cut your onion, take the skin off, take the top and bottom off, and you can be pretty rough with the cut. Like cut it in half and then cut it. So you have like your onion, right? So if you cut it in half, now you got like 2 halves. If you split that one ways and then cut it into 3 the other way, all that can go into your food processor by itself. I like to run on slow for about 10 seconds and then crank her up to high speed for another 30, and you'll end up with onions that are very diced, probably where she's going at the end of this. So halfway in the middle, you could throw the rest of the stuff in there, but you don't need to, knife dice your vegetables before you put them in a food processor. That's just redundant.
That juice.
This is a great idea. You're like jump starting all the onions and everything. Other than, you could just throw them in there raw, but I like this better. Because the sauce after is going to be like right there, right?
I'm gonna put some pineapple in here.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, this is gonna be so tasty. We can save the rest of that pineapple for something else.
Oh, I'll eat that.
Yeah,
Make a drink
that,
later.
That can be, make a little spicy pineapple margarita.
Hey now.
Hey,
How you doing? Let's
It's funny she just said a pineapple margarita because I was actually thinking tequila might go good inside of the sauce.
fun. Sorry, I'm just
All
really in
right.
a great mood today.
why?
Are
There's
you?
a big hunk of pork
Let's
about
take a
that we're
look
going to
and
eat
see.
eventually that now
if-
I get to see the business.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at that.
So, Katie, you could do this with a chuck roast, right? You could do it with big,
Oh, for sure.
big rib,
Yeah,
big bones of
big
rib.
Brisket,
Chuck
yeah,
pork
any of
ribs.
that. All right, Sonny, I'm gonna add that orange juice in here.
Oh,
There we go.
oh.
That's good. The pineapple tenderizes
Yeah.
pork very quickly
yeah.
too. It is like
It'll tenderize your tongue if you're sensitive to it.
I
Yeah.
do get a little numb sometimes.
bite.
So you're not going to need to tenderize the pork. With that being a pork butt, it's okay. So one, it is a tougher cut, being the shoulder. But listen to me when I say you don't need to tenderize it, is because you're going to be put in a slow cooker and you're going to leave the house at like 8 in the morning. And you're going to come home at 5. It's going to be well done by 3 o'clock, maybe 4, 3 hours. So it's going to be well done by, by 11, maybe 12 o'clock. And the rest of that time, because you're braising it, that's the actual proper method. It's a braise. That's what we're going to do in the slow cooker. What's going to happen is it's going to overcook, and there's so much fat inside of a shoulder that it's going to, all the collagen, the connective tissues are going to break down, and you're going to get shredded. This is going to be pulled pork, basically, is what she's making. And you don't really need the added acid of the pineapple to assist in the breakdown when you're going to be slow cooking it that long. If you're doing this in the oven, maybe, and I'm just saying the oven, you could do it fast in the slow cooker, I guess, or an Instapot. If you're going to try this in an Instapot, maybe you would want to add the pasta. You would probably want to add the pineapple. The acid is going to give you it's going to help speed that up, but it's not really helping break it down. It is, though, going to help carry the flavors in, because as it penetrates, the acid will help it penetrate and pull in the flavors of of her spice bomb, basically.
Little tingly.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So you
no.
want to sear this pork on every side. So that means this side, this side, this side, this side, and the bottom side.
Yeah.
So we got 1, 2,
12.
3, 4, 5, 6 sides
That's
to do.
too many.
So I've got one already seared back here on the back counter.
Oh, that has an extra side, too, that one.
It's a
So-
hexagon.
If you don't have a slow cooker, you can make this in a Dutch oven.
Look
So
at
sweet.
Oh, there you go. That's service right
That
there.
is.
Ow.
And I'm gonna add in a couple of bay leaves.
Oh.
I've got my pineapple mixture here. There we
Wow.
go. I'm gonna pour that right in.
It's a very good pineapple, by
Oh
the
my way, it's so sweet.
Right? It's
And so cooking low and slow like this is gonna really break down the meat. It's gonna tenderize, be so delicious. I'm adding some cola in here.
Here we go.
Do it.
So now that cola, on the other hand, that is going to have more breakdown tenderizing power than the fruit of that pineapple. The cola, that is a long time secret for things like St. Louis ribs. For tough cuts, you want to do like a Coca-Cola braise, and that's gonna break that down a lot more than that pineapple ever could. The cola, though, some people love it, some people, it's one way or the other. With the brown sugar and with the spices, though, because you got to remember the flavors, when you break cola down to its root flavors, and like the traditional recipe, what they're going for. I know now you read the ingredients, it's like high fructose corn syrup, but like the original going back is like a caramely molasses, and that's what we're talking about with the brown sugar. So I'm not going to say redundant, but that's going to speed it up a lot more than that pineapple juice would. You know, maybe you're not putting this in at 8 a.m. before you leave the house. Maybe you're putting this in at 12 p.m. That cola might give you some benefit, way more than the pineapple would.
Stock though, right?
Stock, beer, any water even would be just fine. I'm just gonna kind of stir this around with my tongs. And you can see that it doesn't completely cover the meat.
No.
There's a little bit peeking up there, and that's just fine. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on. We love tacos in our house. It's like one of our favorite things to have. So you can have the tortillas out, and Iris will actually eat this.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll go for it. She'll go for that tender meat. So this is good.
I tell you, Iris is kind of sounding like she's in my eating wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put this on 6 hours on low. What do you guys like to make in your slow cookers?
I mean, I love a pork butt. We were saying before we started today, like, the quick trick is just like the soda and the pork butt, but adding the flavor is just that extra step.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ooh, look at that.
But yeah,
that's
like
beautiful.
a sweet or savory dip.
Like any,
It's also good to hold stuff, like, you know, mashed potatoes, they can stay
Because there's a warm setting.
Yeah.
on the
I
slow
use it to
cooker.
Yeah, on ours it's called buffet mode. And, you know, they're great for bringing to a party. You have your slow cooker filled with, like, say, meatballs or something. Something that holds well. Leave it on buffet mode, and people can go in with a spoon and pull meatballs out all evening. Or queso dip. Make a giant queso dip. Melted cheese everywhere.
Stock because it's so low.
Oh.
And I use just a ton of thighs and wings and water, a little salt, nothing else.
That's all you need.
Overnight, like, and then it's so
But
clear.
It smells so
Yeah.
good.
It's so
It
good.
didn't simmer. It wasn't a violent stockage.
No, because once
Do
you
you do that on
boil,
the warm setting or the low setting? I like
Low.
that idea.
All right, we're gonna let this slow cooker work its magic, and we're gonna check in on it later. Guys, you waited
Oh, my
all
goodness.
this time for it?
Yeah.
It's taco time.
Taco time.
Taco time.
Sonny, you're gonna be on topping duty.
done, right?
It's pretty much done. We've got some diced white onion there, and if you can just take off some of these cilantro leaves for me, that'd be wonderful.
we were talking, Katie, about like what toppings you put on. It's almost endless. That once you start,
Yeah.
oh, I need a pickle.
Yeah.
Oh, I need crema.
Look at this. Our beautiful slow cooker has done its job. This pork is like fallen apart.
Oh, Lord.
Look at that. Just to recap, we
It's not really falling apart if she picked it up that easily.
stirred this pork. Look at it. And with some good spices on there, put it into
This
our
right
slow
here is the
cooker.
gem. Yes.
Yes, it is shreddable. She's shredding it with those forks, looking effortlessly. But I've done this at the restaurant before with the pork butts in our roasting pans. The oven's low and slow. Sometimes we have to do pulled pork for a couple hundred people from that buffet at a wedding. And literally, you know, I put it at 9 a.m. I let it go low and slow in the oven till 6 o'clock that evening. And we use the bone-on ones. You can just pull the bone out, and it shreds very easily. Usually on the bone is a little cheaper, and you would rather get this on the bone because you're going to get all that extra flavor from the bone.
With some pureed pineapple, fresh orange juice, lime juice. We had some cola in there. It's sweet, it's delicious, it's spicy with some jalapeno.
Look at that.
And it just, I mean, I'm barely even taking these forks into this, and it is falling apart. And I'm not looking for little tiny chunks here. I want to keep this meat fairly intact. We put it on.
So she's got a point there about leaving it fairly intact. If you shred it too much, you might as well just gotten ground pork. The other thing, though, I would have shredded this maybe half an hour earlier if it was possible, or start half hour earlier, and I'd leave it shredded in the cooking juice for about 20-30 minutes. That way the core of the meat has more of a chance, because now you're exposing a lot more surface area to that marinade. You're letting the core of it absorb more of the flavors. A lot of times what can happen is the outer crust will really suck that in. But you don't get down to the center. That's why, like, for example, when you brine stuff, you do it overnight or for 2 days. When you do a wet brine, that way you get the opportunity for core penetration. The inside, I don't know, the inside probably third isn't really picking up much of the flavor from what she did. But when you mix it all up, you're not going to notice it. The other reason why, when she had the liquid in there, and when you braise, you only go about half in water, and the sear. So now you've developed a crust, and it should stay crispy even with that moisture. And when you mix it all through, you're going to get, some very tender, but you're also going to get some of that crust, that Maillard reaction on the outside, like mixed in throughout. Be good.
Hours low. Look
So
at this,
good.
guys. It's really perfection. And this lends itself to such beautiful leftovers. If you have any left from your tacos, you can take these and make the quesadillas that we did earlier. You could toss it with some pasta. That would be great. Oh, we got an extra string in there.
In Mexico, they often will use cheeks. Like you can roast a whole pork head, and you use the cheeks to make the tacos.
Just gonna put it all in our big serving bowl here. Ryan goes nuts for this. Ryan loves pork tacos.
How many does he have, honestly, though?
Come
How many
on,
can he?
Ryan.
How many?
Depends on what size they are.
He can go up to like a dozen.
I don't doubt it.
I think I was with him one day when he ate
Guy
like
hollow leg.
I mean, he can
20
eat
oysters.
so much. No, he had 48 oysters
Oh, it's
one
guys
night.
insane.
I could easily do
Yeah.
48. No shame in
All
my
right.
game.
I heard you guys almost broke up then. You were like, listen.
We had just gotten married, and I was like, what did I get myself into?
So I would like to mix a little cornstarch into that now, and that'll give it a little more glossier sheen, and it'll make it stick and adhere to the meat better. It'll give it a different mouthfeel, because right now that is basically just like a broth. And if you add some cornstarch to it, it'll give it a more of like a saucier consistency. You don't have to go crazy and make it like really sauce thick, but cornstarch would be good in there.
This guy
They will
can
tear up your pantry.
And the most upsetting part is that it doesn't affect him whatsoever. All right, so here we go. I've got our beautiful pork here, ready to make some tacos.
Oh,
I've got some corn
steaming.
tortillas,
Steaming.
nice and warm. I'm gonna layer these.
Oh, you're doing doubles, 2-ply.
Yeah, otherwise they might
Authentico.
fall apart.
Yeah. I don't believe a taco.
Okay, there you have The Kitchen from Food Network, the show. Katie Lee Biegel slow cooker pulled pork tacos. The recipe looked good. It looked very simple. That looks like a great introduction to the slow cooker on how you want to still sear your meat in a pan, add it to your slow cooker, the amount of liquid to use. She didn't do anything revolutionary or groundbreaking. There wasn't really anything noteworthy in that, other than it was a good instruction for people that don't really use it that much. I gotta say, the guys on the side, personally, I found them annoying. Take that or leave it. The recipe itself, like I said, looks very safe, middle of the road, and you should try that recipe once and then start playing with it. I would have went with chili powder in my mix. Probably would have skipped the Coke myself. That's just me. Doubled up on the pineapple instead. Just not because of the tenderizing aspect, but because of the acidity that it adds, like for a nice balance of acid. And I Again, not traditional, but I would have threw some cornstarch in there to give it more of a saucier kind of cling to the meat. That's how I like to eat. Everything looked good. You know, maybe I'd jazz it up again, veering away from the traditional, and done some red onions and pickled them first. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I hope to see you again next week, and you keep on watching my shows and enjoying my channel, and we'll see you later.